How are your grades in school?
Pretty good.
Like
2.7.
2.7, okay. Alright, this is the test with the mazes and faces. You did?
Mm-hmm.
These are your scores. I'll walk you through this. Alright, so we color code scores. Gray, green, dark green is what we like to see. Orange and red are opportunities for improvement. 3.5 is the cutoff score. So numerically, if you're on 3.5, we get more watchful as well. We break this into 4 sections: thinking, okay, which is basically focus. John, by the way, when we're below age 18,
Mm-hmm.
we thinking it's not the combination of focus,
Oh,
memory,
okay.
and executive
Sure.
function.
So it's
It's just
slightly different
focus.
test, yeah.
Yeah. Emotion, this is how well we recognize the faces. Okay. Self-regulation kind of speaks for itself. And then
Mhm.
feeling, that's how you felt at least during the assessment. All right. John, the other thing too is yesterday for the adults, it's light green to dark green.
Mm-hmm.
If you're age 18, it's gray to dark green.
Okay.
So they just changed the colors. I'm not sure why they did that way, but they did that way.
Okay.
Okay, so thinking, focus, and look at this. This is what I asked how your grades were in school.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like right on the border.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Me, of course, I'll go through all these. Sustained attention. The longer you try to study, you get tired.
Yeah.
All right. I want to see that. Impulsivity. If there's external things coming at you, you have a hard time weeding those out. So if you're
Yeah.
reading a book for a class and there's music, you're going to go lean towards that music more than read the book. Intrusions. This is more irrelevant things coming at you. So it's like if you're reading that book and you go, well, aren't I supposed to have a lacrosse practice in a little bit? Rather than saying, hold on, I'll get to lacrosse, let me get this chapter done. When I see scores like this, in nanoseconds in our mind, we'll be like, oh my gosh, when's lacrosse?
Mm-hmm.
I gotta call my friends up. So we'll go from reading to lacrosse quickly. Now, in contrast, inhibition, this is more internal things coming at you, but this is more relevant things. So if you're reading and you go, don't I have a math test? With a score like this, you'll be able to say, hold on, I'll get to math in a second. Let's get this reading assignment done first. Response variability, you're right on that edge. Response variability is how consistent you are in answering questions in the same amount of time. Usually if sustained attention's low, so is this one. So it kind of makes sense. If you get tired, it takes longer to answer questions. That's what we typically see. Emotional identification, you did great recognizing the faces. This tells me you got a lot of empathy.
Well, you did better than Mom and Dad.
Yeah.
Grant.
And Grant.
Yeah.
And then look at your social skills. Okay, just that one there, social skills and empathy, you can do a whole lot in life. All right, it's your strength.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now that all being said, negativity bias. Okay, we definitely see the glass half empty, so you really struggle with these negative thoughts when they happen. Resilience is how optimistic we are when things get challenging.
Mm-hmm.
So when I see scores like this, we tend to give up. All right, now that surprised me a little bit, given that you play sports, because what do they teach in sports from day one?
Nothing, yeah.
Don't give up. And when I see scores like this, it'd be like we're playing lacrosse and there's like 30 seconds left and you're behind by 1 goal. And we'd be like, well, it's a good game. Let's just kind of throw it back and forth to the defense, Maybe we'll go to Dairy Queen afterwards. So that surprised me. Now, you may do well in sports with this. Schoolwork might be a different story.
Mm-hmm.
All right, feeling. All right. Yeah, we're right in the border there. Me, of course, again, I go through all these: depression, apathy, who cares, anxiety, nervousness, worry, stress, irritability, anger, not really that. But we definitely got a lot going on there. Okay, so your friends, if you're with your friends, you must cover this up pretty good because this tells me we've got a lot going on emotionally. All right? Okay, so I'm going to put this in with all the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now, in terms of the scans, we get 2 scans. Day 1, we have you come in.
Mm-hmm.
We give you an injection of technetium. It's a radionuclide. You get the same amount of duration as about a third of a CAT scan. It's pretty mild. We do that, have you go to our crazy computer room, push the button. Every time you see a letter except for,
X.
everyone thinks it's easy. Was it easy?
No.
No, it's really hard, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but gets our brain real active. So we'll do that for about 35 or 30 minutes. Once the time's up, we'll go from our little computer room to the scanner. The scanner, we roll your head in between those 3 big boxes that form a circle. Looks like a miniature MRI machine. Those boxes are gamma cameras, and what they do is take snapshots as they rotate around your brain. It takes about 15 minutes for those cameras to do the full swivel. So once they get to the top, boom, we're done for the day. That's your active scan. Day 1. Day 2, come come back. This time, usually, thankfully, after we give you the technetium, no computer game, we just try to have you sit relaxed. So is that hard? Some people, it's hard to relax too.
Yeah, I couldn't relax.
It's hard to relax, okay?
Yeah.
So we'll try to have you relax for 15-20 minutes. Once that time's up, we'll go from our little quiet room back to the scanner, roll your head in between those 3 boxes, let our cameras do their thing for 15 minutes. We're done. That's our resting scan. So we get the active scan, resting scan. Now what I do is look at 2 different types of pictures of your brain, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is look at the surface of our brain.
Mm-hmm.
Surface of our brain is called the cortex. We call this the cortical scan. Better blood flow, brain's working pretty well. Decreased blood flow means our brain not working so well. So what we do is we look at specific areas to see what the brain looks like. All right? So when we get a picture of our surface, this is what we hope to see. Alright, so these are typical pictures of the surface of our brain, just to orientate. They're a little bit like looking at foreign letters. This picture, we're looking from the bottom up, top down, left side, right side. Alright, colors on here mean absolutely nothing. We purposely put colors on here just so it's easier to see things. Alright. We're mainly looking at texture. The smoother the surface, the better the blood flow. The more bumps or holes we see, the less blood flow there is in those particular areas. Okay? Alright, so we're going to look at some specific regions. For example, here, this is our lower frontal cortex. This is one area responsible for focusing. People with problems here tend to be our jumpers. They'll be in class and they'll pull one of these. They'll look at the teacher, then they'll look at the door, they'll look outside, look at the bookshelves, look at the ceiling, back to the door. Our brain's like ping pong ball. It's going so fast it's hard to focus on anything. Okay? This area also helps with impulse control. Impulse control more in the sense of making good decisions as opposed to anger management kind of issues. So people have problems here, they tend to act a lot before they think through things. So that's your lower frontal cortex. Now if I go from that bottom to the top, this area here is called our dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. If I take this top half and add the bottom below, there's our frontal lobes. This whole area helps with something called executive functioning. It's a big fancy word for basically coming up with an idea, following through, and doing whatever you need to do to make that idea become reality. Alright, so if you have a paper to write for a class, think of all the steps with that one. The creative piece, what I'm going to write about, then all the implementation steps, the planning, organizing, sequencing, doing, not stopping until we're done. All up here. Okay? So big chunk of cognitive change, frontal lobes. Next, these 2 bumps, these are called our temporal lobes. Our temporal lobes help with mood control. People with horrible temper tantrums will see issues here. We'll see lower grade anger like irritability, frustration coming from here. We can also see some anxiety and nervousness as well. Alright, so that's your temporal lobes. If I keep going back, this elevated area, this is called our cerebellum. Cerebellum we used to think was primarily responsible for motor coordination. So when you're out skiing, do they have double black diamonds in Michigan? Okay, we're doing double black, going through those bumps, one ski before the other, kind of planning ahead, having our shoulders go the opposite way. All those coordination movements happen here. No, this is what we're starting to learn. This little wedge sticking out here goes back about 2/3 of the way. That little area is responsible for motor coordination. This big back area, a whole lot more volume, a whole lot more space. All this is responsible for thought coordination. So our working memory, our processing speed, how fast we learn, all back here. Alright, so this is doing a whole lot more than helping us ski double black diamonds, which is what we used to think. 10 years ago, this was accessory brain. More and more that part of our brain is our central processing unit. Alright, so in terms of learning, there's a lot going on. So that's your cerebellum. There's cerebellum on the side, that little notch. There is the back of our brain called our occipital cortex. Most of our vision happens all back here. Our eyes located right below frontal lobes, send neurons that go all the way to the back of our brain where they paint a picture of what we're looking at. And then finally, if I go up just a little bit, right through here, this is our parietal cortex. This is our visual spatial integration area. People with problems here, they're horrible with directions. Okay, they'll go to the grocery store and get lost, literally. Left from right, you can just about forget it. Okay? Okay, so there is brain. Now, when I read the report, here's how I kind of think of things. All right, if we're having problems with anxiety, I might want to look here. Your temporal lobes, these should look like two fluffy cotton balls, nice, smooth, fluffy on top. All right. From that ski accident, when you hit the front of your head, when you went 20 or 40 feet, however many feet went down, wherever we hit, we might see a bump. Now, reflexively, if we hit the front, brain goes back, back of our brain can hit our skull, we might see bumps back here as well. All right, so we get concerned about that. Then we also get concerned about toxins. So toxins can be anything from like drinking to pot, all right, to vaping, the nicotine. All that's toxic. It can cause bumps and holes kind of over our whole surface of our brain, okay? So we want to watch for that too. We get a little bit concerned, like in California especially, pot's legal. It's kind of like alcohol's legal too. People think it's safe. Well, if you smoke a lot of weed, this is the kinds of things we can see happen. Let's see if I can get one picture here. Yeah. So here's what happens if you smoke a lot of pot. All right? And it's not just pot. People think, only it's just pot. Here's heroin, opiates. Here's alcohol. There's the other big one. People think, alcohol doesn't do anything. Well, that's what alcohol can do to your brain. Okay? This is what we don't want. People have a hard time learning in school when their brain looks like that. Okay? Okay, so should we take a look at your pictures?
Yeah.
Are you nervous?
A little bit.
Guess-
Drum roll.
Guess how many people would be nervous after I just said all the things I told you. There'd be a lot of people nervous. Okay. Okay, so here's our pictures. Here's your resting scan. Here's your active scan. I put an iron here for resting and A for active for you. Just to line these up. Bottom up. Top down. Left side. Right side. Okay, we're going to start from the bottom up. Work our way from the front of our brain back and see what we got. Alright, so right lower frontal lobe, left lower frontal lobe. Right and left are the opposite when we look below. Okay, right side, not too bad. Okay, on the left side, you got a little spot here. See that? We may have a little problem focusing here. We rank these 1 to 4. 1's mild, 4's really severe. That's kind of like a 1-ish range. Alright, so you got that. You got a little one over here as well. Whenever I see him on one side, that's where we get a little bit more concerned about getting hits to the head. It's called asymmetry. It's bigger on one side than the other. So you got that. Then this is really subtle. I like to see this really smooth lips, especially with someone who's 15, even smoother than this one. Can you see where it's a little flat here?
Yeah.
And especially right here, you can see it too. All right. Right there and there. It's not quite as smooth. That's like a little 1 area. But when I see it, I go, uh-oh. Alright, so if we got hit here, then what happens?
The back
Brain
side.
goes back. We need to look back here. So I said, we better go from here and work all the way back. Okay, so I see this. The rest of your frontal lobes, not too bad. Your temporal lobes on top, you got a little bump there, but not too bad. Then we kind of get you to the parietal area and your occipital area. Okay, see all these little bumps? Okay, so you kind of got bumps kind of at parietal and occipital area. You can even see a mark right there. See right there?
Yeah.
It's on your occipital cortex. You got a little less blood flow here. So I see this. I start thinking we might have had a good hit to the head. So that skiing accident, it's mild. I've seen a lot worse, but it's there. And so we want to talk about ways to make sure this doesn't happen again. I'm not seeing bumps all over. right? It's more in focal areas. So in terms of having any toxic things going on right now, I'm less concerned with that. All right, with that. Left side looks pretty good. Right side, hard to see there, but this all came back looking pretty good. Your temporal lobes, right there and there, on that middle side, you can see it right there. You got a little bit of decreased blood flow here. It's kind of like a 1 to 2. Your left temporal lobe, there you got a little bit of decreased blood flow on that anterior side. That's like a 1. So maybe a little anxiety, okay, coming from there. So we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
All right. So overall good. I think though, John, we got a hit to the head. You know, the other thing too with temporal lobes, you got to remember is they're protected by a bone called the sphenoid wing, which does a great job of protecting our head. Unless we get hit, boom, really hard, then boom, soft brain gets hit by hard bone. These can get bruised, and we might see things like this too. All right. Okay, so we'll talk about that a little bit and see what we can do to try to help out. Okay?
All right.
All right, now before we do, I want to go look at your other set of pictures. We've looked at surface, and I want to go look below surface. Below surface, those areas have a lot more to do with emotions and feelings. Okay?
All right.
All right, so I'm going to put these pictures down for a second. You doing okay?
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm going to get my book and go back a few pages here. And this is a typical picture of a male brain age 15 to 21 years old, below surface. Now they're a lot different looking, so we're going to walk through and make some sense of these first. Just to orientate, bottom up, top down, left side, right side. All right, now just to orientate where we're looking. Okay, if I take this slice and look straight down on the middle and the inside, take that slice, here's where we're looking on the inside. Make sense?
Yeah.
All right. Now, unlike the other pictures, the colors mean something on these ones. So wherever you see any blue, our blood flow's at roughly the 50th percentile. Red, our blood flow's a bit higher, it's at the 85th percentile. And then white, our blood flow's even higher, it's at the 95th percentile. Now ideally, I want your colors to match up the same as these ones, all right, regionally. So wherever I see blue, I want to see blue on yours. Red, I want to see red on yours. White, I want to see white on yours. For example, down here, all that red and white, there's your cerebellum. Your motor and thought coordinator like to see a lot of red and white in this area. Only area from about here down, if I see a lot more red and white, we see a higher likelihood of even learning faster, okay? If I go up a little bit, that little red spot, that's called your thalamus. If that gets bigger red or white, we see a higher association with depression. Depression, more apathy, kind of who cares, nothing matters, everything's sort of blah. All right, we see a lot of negativity there too. If I go up just a tad into the sides right here and here, these are our basal ganglia. If these get bigger red or white, people have a higher likelihood of getting really anxious or nervous. They tend to worry a lot more. Okay, they may procrastinate at school. We can also see some problems with sleep. From our basal ganglia, if I go just a little bit out from there, lateral, this area is called our insular cortex. If I see a lot more red or white in this region, people tend to be overly sensitive. They get their feeling hurt, they'll watch movies, they'll cry. And then if I go from that region and continue to work my way out all the way to the edge, the periphery, here's our temporal lobe again. If I see more red and white in this area, we tend to get more crabby and irritable. Then, last area, right there, that's called our anterior cingulate cortex. If I see a lot more red or white here, people tend to have problems with their thinking. This area acts like a big gear shifter. It helps us flexibly go from one thought to another, etc. forever. So like we're in flow with our thinking. If I see a lot more red here or white, people are more apt to get stuck on thoughts. Now in real life, what does that look like? We're in math class, the teacher's talking about something, we have no idea what they're saying. Rather than listen to the teacher, we'll pull one of these maneuvers. I wonder where that person's going. Got 3 kids, holy mackerel, she must be a busy mom. Okay, so rather than doing this,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not focusing on the right thing. All right, so in essence, I'm daydreaming.
Mm-hmm.
So see a lot of daydreaming here. People who obsess, get a thought, can't let go. We'll see this reactive. Sometimes, John, when we're younger, if this is active, mom or dad might say, hey, clean your room. I want to play. Clean your room. Please, I want to play. Please, I want to play. No, you need to clean your room. Oh, please, I want to play. So mom and dad think you're trying to wear them all down
Mm-hmm.
to get your needs met. And in essence, you're really not. You're mentally inflexible. You get stuck and rigid. You can't see other options. If you get stuck on a negative thought, I'm stupid, I'm stupid, I'm stupid. After a while, we might see some depression here. Depression here, we tend to get more sad, tearful, and crying. Versus depression down in our thalamus, will tend to be more apathetic. Who cares? Okay?
Yeah.
All right, so should we take a look and see what we got?
Yeah.
Does this sound easier, John, every time you hear it?
It does.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It doesn't take long. Alright, so here's your brain. There's your resting scan. There's your active scan. Alright, all these line up. We're going to start at the bottom and work our way up. Cerebellum? Kind of quiet there, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, so remember you got hit in the back of the head?
Mm-hmm.
Makes me kind of wonder if maybe that's part of what's going on there. So we'll talk about cerebellum. Thalamus, depression, apathy, who cares? A lot of negativity. Should have a little red spot.
Mm-hmm.
Holy mackerel. That's on a 1 to 4. That's like a 3 to 4 range.
Yeah.
Okay, so you definitely got some stuff going on there. And then our basal ganglia, anxiety, nervousness, worry. Okay. Yeah, maybe that right one's a little bit bigger,
Yeah.
but look over here.
Mm-hmm.
See how big that is? Got a little insular cortex, a little white down there too, but your basal ganglia, anxiety, nervousness, you got that. Your anterior cingulate, getting stuck on thoughts, maybe some depression here as well. Not too bad.
Mm-hmm.
This looks pretty good. All right. Now, in your report, you're going to see this, John. Whenever we see anterior cingulate, basal ganglia, thalamus, basal ganglia, if they all light up, it creates a diamond pattern.
Mm-hmm.
With a diamond pattern, we see a higher association with past trauma, physical abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse. I didn't get a flavor that's ever happened before. It's been no abuse in the past.
Well, no abuse, but brothers.
He had brothers, and his brothers had issues.
Had issues.
Yeah, so there was trauma in the house. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe that it really, because this is pretty normal.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so it's one of the milder diamond patterns I've ever seen. All right, so I'd be really hesitant to say that, but I'm a little bit concerned here, there, and this.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, given all these findings, what the heck would I do with your brain? Everything I tell you, we're going to do the same thing as yesterday, John. I'll put in the report. In
Right.
that physician section, I'll put the top 8 or 9 things to do. And we're going to want to go more holistic as well.
Right.
All right. So I'm going to put this picture down. We're going to start with this one first. And I'm going to tell you things I would do.
So first off, he confirmed you do have a brain.
We got a brain. That's good news. We don't have as many bumps either as we thought we might have. Okay, so basal ganglia, anxiety, nervousness, worry. Guess what calms these down? I asked you.
I don't know.
Booze, pain pills, pot, and it works. That's the scary part.
Mhm.
It works. The problem is all those are addictive and they're toxic to our brain. Okay. All right. Now, Dad parents know you smoke pot, right?
Mhm.
All right. Guess how much they think you're smoking? Because I asked Dad how much. Like rarely, a lot. Where do you think Dad? Where do you think Dad's caliber is?
Pretty rarely.
Pretty rarely. All right. Dad thinks you're smoking every weekend. Okay. So rarely and every weekend. That's kind of a big switch.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, but we've got to figure out something else to calm these down besides pop, because it's going to wreak havoc on your cortex as we get older. All right. Medically, we used to use a lot of Ativan or Xanax. Do your friends or anybody at school use Xanax at all? because I've heard Xanax is a
No.
big one. Okay, they help too, but the problem is they're addictive as
Mhm.
well. So what do? Dad kind of knows what's coming already. Ativan, Xanax, they all bind to the GABA receptors in our basal ganglia. We find if you just use the supplement, GABA helps calm these down. It's not addictive and it doesn't
Mm.
cause bumps and holes over your cortex. So I'd get some GABA. John, I'd get our GABA calm again with magnesium
Mhm.
and the theanine because it helps here. It'll help that little insular cortex and temporal lobes, which we're going to talk a little bit about next as well,
Okay.
to help here. 2 tablets in the morning, 2 tablets at noon. When I used to be back in Atlanta, I
Mhm.
used to take care of a lot of the ACC players, football. A couple of the retired quarterbacks,
Mhm.
they were like 30. They were like drinking like literally there's no tomorrow. And their
Mm.
wife's ready to kick them out of the house.
Mm.
And we put them on GABA, and they came back in a month. And you know what they did? Between me seeing them,
Mhm.
and they took the
Stop.
GABA. All right,
Okay.
they stopped. That's one. Guess what else they did?
Got better.
They called all their dang friends on their team
Mhm.
who were doing the same shenanigans, and they all got on GABA too. Okay, so that's how much it helps here. Okay, all right, so that's 1.
Okay.
Okay, 2. Let me put this over here so I can write. Okay, so thalamus, depression, apathy, negativity. All right, anything that helps increase a neurotransmitter called norepinephrine helps here. There's actually 2 supplements that help. Now I think he's more depressed
Mhm.
than Ralph. I mean, to me, you get the A+ for acting. I think you hide things really well. Okay, and I think mom and dad are going to want to be better investigators to make sure that they're not being fooled.
Mm.
Okay, because I'm concerned how you're feeling. I'd use 2 supplements here, John. There's something called SAMe
Okay.
I'd use, and I'd go 800 milligrams, and then there's something called betaine, which I'd get ours. If you
Mhm.
go to the Whole Foods and get it there, theirs helps increase stomach acid. We
Oh.
don't need that,
Right.
but we need to make more norepinephrine. And I take our betaine, 500 milligrams twice a day.
Okay.
Okay, wait a week to calm these down first
Okay.
to help. Okay, so
So after a week, start the SAMe
betaine and the
SAMe.
SAMe
Okay.
together, and I'm gonna pull the betaine off here off the shelf for you, as well as the GABA calm.
Okay.
To calm that down.
Alright.
Okay. I'm also going to put the medications we typically use here,
Mhm.
just in case in the future,
Okay.
you know, we need to use those.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So 1, 2, 3. So temporal lobes. We might see some anxiety coming from here as well. The GABA calm is going to help a little bit.
Mhm.
I'd get some taurine too, John,
Okay.
to help here. 500 milligrams twice a day. Dad knows what's coming. Guess where we find taurine these days?
No.
Go to 7-Eleven. Don't do this, by the way.
No clue.
Go to the soft drink section.
Slurpee. Soda.
Which ones?
Coke. Mountain Dew.
Getting closer.
Think
Sprite.
energy.
Oh, Monster and Red Bull, things like that.
And Rockstar. They all put taurine in there. Now, these soft drink companies aren't stupid. They give you that big 240 milligram jolt of caffeine, which is
Mhm.
about 3 times as much as you're supposed to have per day. To balance you off, they all put the taurine in there. All right, so you don't need the energy drinks with all the caffeine, but the taurine to get you more calm. This will help with panic
Mm.
too. Can help there. Okay, with those panic episodes you've got. People here tend to get more reactive quickly, and that taurine's going to help. Okay. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so cerebellum, our motor and thought coordinator. Are you having any balance problems at all?
Pretty clumsy, yeah.
You're pretty clumsy. Okay. coordination exercises help. So playing like tennis, ping pong, air hockey, dancing can help here to get this working better. There is, and I think part of this is when you hit the back of your head, like we saw the other spot. There's a group called the Brain Plasticity Center. They've got an office in Dallas and one in Atlanta. They specialize in cerebellar injuries. All right, I'll put their phone number in.
Okay.
If you're having especially balance issues, they're good people to call. They
Okay.
treat a lot of NHL players that have had head injuries, okay, that have problems back here.
Okay.
I'm not saying you have to go see them. They're not the cheapest group in town,
Yeah.
but you at least educate in case things aren't getting
Sure.
better. And the balance exercises we're going to do don't help. The coordination exercises help. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So we do that. We're not going to do anything yet, but there are supplements that I can give, like John the Brain Memory Power Boost,
Right.
that can help this whole surface. I'd focus on mood first.
Mood first.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
we can look at some other things maybe to help that later down the pike. Okay?
All right.
All right. Okay, so your brain's neurophysiology, that's where I'd start
Okay.
to help out. Okay? Medically, I would only think of one other thing right now I would do. So with these jewels, which is a lot of nicotine to take, you might consider trying to find a compound pharmacy in Detroit that could make lollipops with nicotine in them. Okay, so rather than every time you want to use the vaporizer, you put the lollipop in your mouth instead. Okay, and it's sort of like Nicorette gum,
Sure.
but it's flavored differently, and you get some nicotine. You got something in your mouth rather than the vaporizer, so your brain gets kind of fooled
Right.
as well. But I would do that to try to get off. Okay, if there's no one in town that can make the lollipops, which I've had a hard time here, then you could look for making lozenges. Or every
Okay.
time you feel like, you just put a lozenge in as
Mhm.
well.
Okay.
Okay, and I would look anywhere from 1 to 4 milligrams per either lozenge or for the lollipop.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So that's how I try to get, because we got to get you out there. You're hooked on nicotine, right? And it's hard, and we have to kind of give you something else to slowly transition off of that. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. So I would do that medically. Maybe in the future, I might consider hyperbaric oxygen therapy from the ski hit, but I'd really hold on doing any of that right now. Okay? For that. And that'd be medically. Okay, just general brain health. Good multivitamin. All right, and we could go on an adult dose at
Okay.
this point. Good omega-3 fish oil.
Yeah.
All right, and I'd go at adult dose at this point. I think you're big enough where we can do that. Exercise, I think you're doing great. I mean, I'm not sure I'd add anything there. The diet piece, though, okay, we got to figure out a way to get you to eat 3 balanced meals per day. I mean, when you eat, it sounds like you're eating the right types of foods. It's just the quantity. We got to make sure you're eating 3 balanced meals per day. So, John's test dads and mom are going to make sure you're eating 3 balanced meals per day. And we're not feeding, what's the doggy's name?
Ruby.
Ruby?
Yeah.
We're not sneaking food under the table to Ruby.
Yeah.
Right? Okay? So we got to make sure. And we got to help communicate with mom, dad, what's going on as well. Okay? All right. And that'd be sort of for general health for right now. I wouldn't be getting nutritional tests at this point, you know. I think energy-wise and just looking at you, I'm not like jumping up and down. All right. Psychologically, I think we need to find you a good therapist. Okay? I would find a good psychodynamic therapist who can help, especially with the negative thinking piece of this, to give you some skill sets to calm these down. Okay, so if the psychodynamic therapist has any cognitive behavioral training, that would be really helpful to deal with some of that. 1. 2, I'm going to put some sheets in your packet called Stomping the Ants. Ants are automatic negative thoughts.
Right.
Okay, so this are sheets you can use when you get those thoughts. They help stomp them. And stomp's an aggressive word. It's like playing lacrosse, right? You don't say, "Hey, don't hit me," right? You know, what do you do?
Yeah.
You keep moving. Get out of
Yeah.
my way. Well, we want you to be the same way with those thoughts. Okay, so stomp is an aggressive word, and you put it in there for a reason. Okay, so those sheets will help with regards to that. Okay, 3. This is going to be the tough one. we've got to figure out ways to get you calmed down, okay, besides using marijuana or anything else for that matter. I'm hoping the GABA helps. All right, so I'm going to really encourage you to try to abstain. I'm also encouraging mom and dad to be on the lookout, okay? All right, so parents got 2 jobs, right? Be your friend. Hey, how you doing? How's lacrosse going? God, you had a great game. Did you see that play I made, Dad? Wasn't that is awesome? All right, and that's all kind of fun. 2 is parents have to teach self-discipline. Okay, now what's self-discipline? Self-discipline is doing things you don't necessarily want to do. You gotta get your homework done. Let's do it tomorrow morning. Okay, you need to hang around constructive people. Okay, why do they do that? All right, seems kind of punitive to me. Okay, well, the more we teach you self-discipline now, the more opportunities you're going to have later on. Which, by the way, when you finally get done with high school, what do you want to do?
Go to Denver for college.
And then what do you want to do in college?
Business.
Get a business degree in college? Okay, so we want to have all those opportunities open for you. If we're not self-disciplined, it's going to be hard to do that.
Yeah.
Okay? All right, so do you think mom and dad like doing that? No. Do you like it? No. But that's their job. They don't have a choice until you turn 18. And then depending on what the financial arrangement with school, there still may be some stipulations there. Okay? But I want you to have all the opportunities. You go to Denver University?
What?
You're going to Denver U and play lacrosse there? Want to play lacrosse there too?
Probably not.
Go skiing up in the mountains?
Yeah.
You know what they call CU in Boulder?
Yeah.
What's the other name for CU in Boulder? You know what they call it in
No,
Boulder?
bro.
Ski U. It's because everyone on the weekend, none of the kids study.
They're just go skiing.
They're skiing up in Summit County. Yeah. But we want to have your opportunities. We want to kind of mix fun with just being self-disciplined.
Yeah.
So you get all those things, right? I don't want you, no offense, following the same pathway as Grant. Okay, if we get something on a record and you apply to Denver, what do you think? What do you think they ask on the questionnaires?
Do you have a MIP, DUI, felony?
Do you have any type of legal
Yeah.
charges, misdemeanors, or felonies? And then if you have to put yes, what do you think is going to happen?
Throw it out.
Okay, if you say no, what do you think they do?
Look at it.
Look at what?
Your everything.
What's everything?
Grades. Just your more.
If you say no, do you think they're going to believe? Do you think they believe students these days?
No.
What do you think they do?
Background check.
They do a background check. Okay, $20 a person. They're cheap. Okay, and then if you say no on that, then they got you for lying. So which is even worse. All right, so I'm trying to create angst, okay, in a good way, because I want you to have all the opportunities possible for you. Okay, so as you're cracking your knuckles, if I'm making you more nervous,
Oh no.
I'm trying to make you more nervous, but in a good way. Okay. All right. So we got to help you stay away from that stuff. And mom and dad got to be the police.
Yeah.
Okay, that's their job. Okay, then I'll put in some things to help you relax. Relaxation exercises, deep breathing, meditation, yoga. Calm music helps here too. I'm not sure the music you're listening right now would I'll quantify as calm. There's some calm rap music though.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm not saying don't listen to rap, but calm helps here. And then if mom and dad want to get vaporizers in the house just to help relax, that can be helpful too. So I put that in there. Let's see. There is. Let me see. I wanted to check a couple of things for you. Yeah. So books. I'm going to put a couple books in for you. There's a book called Stronger. It's a book on how to increase your resilience. Okay. So in your resilience course, when I say like that, you want to get that a little bit better. All right. So we don't give up, particularly with schoolwork. 1. 2, I'll put in a couple books for you and Stacy as well that I think will be helpful in there as well. And I think that will be plenty.
Yeah.
Okay. What GPA do you have to get in at Denver U?
3.5.
3.5?
Yeah.
And what's your GPA right now?
2.7.
Okay, so we got some more work to do there,
Yeah.
right? Okay, so all this is we want to help you focus. So we want to watch focus well too as we do some of this. Okay? All right. What questions you got for me?
Nothing's pretty much got her all,
Okay.
I think.
John, any questions?
So just for Sam, right? So your panic attacks, just
Mhm.
you know, it's your brain and how it's working.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a discipline thing for you.
Yeah.
It's how your brain's working. So, you know, those techniques and the supplements,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
I think the point is that's what's going to help you get to the point
Yeah.
where then you can train yourself
Exactly.
not to be panicked and learn the other techniques.
Techniques, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and we're hitting it from both. We're doing like psychological things, right,
Yeah.
to help, but we're doing a lot of like supplements here.
Mhm.
So we're hitting it from both. But ideal, hopefully, after a while, we'll get off all the supplements
Yeah.
and we'll have other techniques.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Any other questions, John?
So just remind him when he does use nicotine in those jewels, what area of the brain does that affect? Nicotine.
It affects the whole. Nicotine can affect. There's receptors all over the brain.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so it's calming, so it can help here, but it really hits a
Hits
lot of different
everything.
Mhm.
receptors throughout
Yeah.
our brain. The most addictive drug is nicotine. If you look at like smokers, like cigarette smokers, you're not cigarette smoking,
No.
but the people who quit smoking, okay, 6 months later, guess what percent of people start smoking again after 6 months?
65.
Try 90%.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's hard, and so what you end up doing, I want you to think about this, is a lot of smokers, they have to go through several rounds of quitting
Mhm.
and not giving up. So if you go back to the Juul, even if you're using those lollipops,
Mhm.
it's like, what's the use? I'll never get better. Well, now we got negative thoughts to deal with.
Mhm.
Plus, we're going to use our resilience skills to
Mhm.
say, hold on, let's kind of take a step back. I did use Juuls for 2 weeks. That's a
Mhm.
good start, you know. So let's kind of pick up the ball where we're at. Let's move forward from
Mhm.
there. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Any other questions?
I feel like that's pretty much it.
All right. Well, you got
Okay.
lots of potential. You
Yeah.
just want to build on that. Okay. And go
Mhm.
from there.
Sure.
All right. So, and we'll meet in a month, John, by phone.
Yeah.
And then we can talk about some next steps from there where we're at
Mhm.
there. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Sounds good, gang.